Little did I know that intertwining my existence with my new husband Nathan and his son Liam would unravel a tapestry of depth and complexity, far surpassing the mere blending of our lives. Deciding to intertwine my life with Nathan has proven to be one of the most rewarding choices I've ever embraced, despite the unexpected transformations it has brought along. At the threshold of his 21st year, Liam stood at a crossroads, the weight of his recent graduation pressing down on him as he pondered the uncertain path that lay ahead. As Nathan set off for work, a familiar silence enveloped the house, leaving me alone with my son, the weight of solitude settling in around us. In our world, everything flowed effortlessly. It felt like a walk in the park, almost too easy. At first, our relationship seemed shrouded in distance, a chasm that felt insurmountable. Yet, as the days turned into weeks, we began to bridge that gap, discovering pathways to connect and unravel the depths of our understanding. Well, Liam possessed a depth of thoughtfulness and an extraordinary maturity that belied his years, forging a bond between us that felt both profound and reassuring. At first, I dismissed his kindness and courtesy as simple gestures, but as time unfolded, brief yet significant moments emerged, stirring within me a nagging doubt. Was there something more profound lurking beneath the surface? Something we both dared not confront? That morning, the tension reached its breaking point. As I settled into the familiar embrace of my home, anticipation coursed through me for a tranquil day. The kind that unfolds quietly while Nathan was away. The bathroom door creaked open as I finished my morning routine, the air thick with anticipation. The shower roared to life, its cascading water creating a symphony of sound that enveloped the room. Steam swirled and danced, cloaking the mirrors in a shroud of mystery. In the stillness of the moment, I found myself lost in the echoes of the conversation I had with Liam just the night before. The conversation unfolded with an unexpected tranquility, a calm that settled over the air like a gentle mist. We delved into the visions of the future that lay ahead of him, exploring the dreams he was fervently chasing. Yet, a shadow of uncertainty flickered in his gaze, haunting me long after our eyes had met. That morning, as I stood before the mirror, the warm air from the dryer swirling around me, a sudden sound at the bathroom door pierced the stillness. Liam's voice echoed from the other side, pulling me into a moment charged with anticipation. It descends softly, like a whisper, in the stillness of the air. Do you exist in this moment? In an instant, everything shifted as I blinked, leaving me momentarily disoriented. Liam frequently bypassed the customary knock on the bathroom door, especially in those hushed, tranquil moments of the early morning. So, after a brief pause to absorb my reflection in the mirror, I pivoted toward the door, anticipation coursing through me. Without a doubt, Liam, I stand by your side, unwavering and steadfast. What emotions have been stirring within you as of late? After a moment of silence, an unsettling whisper of movement crept through the air from the other side of the door. Forgive the interruption, but I must slip away for a moment to retrieve something from the bathroom. Could you step inside for just a moment? In that fleeting instant, doubt crept into my mind, casting a shadow over my thoughts. The steam hung thick in the air, wrapping around me like a shroud as I clutched a thin towel to my body, my damp hair spilling down my shoulders after the shower. Liam's voice resonated with an undeniable purity, creating an atmosphere where it felt only natural for him to reach out for something from me. I nodded, striving to keep my voice steady as I responded. Step inside, if you dare. The door creaked open, and Liam's knuckles rapped lightly against the wood, his voice trembling with concern. I have something important to share with you, something that could change everything. He donned sports pants, his hair a wild tangle, as though he had just risen from the depths of slumber. With a fleeting glance in my direction, he pivoted sharply toward the closet, urgency driving his every move as he sought the elusive item that had captured his focus. As I stood before the mirror, a subtle shift in our interactions caught my attention, urging me to delve deeper into the complexities of our evolving relationship. As I stepped into the room, his eyes locked onto mine, holding me captive for a heartbeat longer before they finally drifted away. A wave of unease washed over me as I sensed that something was deeply troubling him. Before long, I noticed that he had ceased his relentless pursuit. I discovered it, he whispered, his fingers gently caressing the jar of pain relief medication, as if it held the key to a world of solace. Yet, instead of leaving, he made the fateful decision to stay. Once again, his eyes held me captive. Are you readying yourself for an extraordinary event? The day has just begun, and I stand at the threshold of probability. I met his gaze, a silent battle raging within me, as I fought to uphold the fragile facade of normalcy. What could possibly be the reason behind that? As he leaned back against his shoulders and the bed, the air in the room thickened, each passing moment amplifying the weight of unspoken tension. A shadow of doubt looms over me. A palpable transformation has taken hold within you. Comment struck me like a bolt from the blue, leaving me momentarily speechless. Have I undergone a transformation? I faced him, the towel clinging to my skin, my gaze locked onto his, with an intensity that felt electric. His eyes held a profound depth, whispering secrets of mysteries I had yet to unravel. An intense and all-consuming sensation. A marvel that left me gasping in awe. Have you noticed any changes in me recently? Can you shed light on what you're trying to convey? To my surprise, I found myself speaking to him with a calmness I hadn't anticipated. Liam's tongue brushed against his lips, a fleeting distraction that pulled his gaze away before it locked onto mine again. Words elude me, slipping through my fingers like sand. A shadow of doubt looms over my thoughts, leaving me grappling with uncertainty about the answer. In that fleeting moment, a profound silence enveloped me, leaving me utterly speechless. The silence that enveloped us thickened, pressing down like a weighty fog, suffocating and inescapable. The air crackled with unvoiced tension, a palpable uncertainty hanging over the scene, as if the very fabric of reality held its breath, waiting for the moment of confrontation. Liam stood before me, the son of my partner, a figure shrouded in mystery and unspoken stories. A tumultuous wave of emotions surged within, each one feeling like a betrayal to the very core of my being. A tumultuous storm raged within me, as I grappled with the intricate web of our changing relationship. Before I could gather my thoughts, Liam moved in, narrowing the space that separated us. As I locked eyes with him, my heart pounded in my chest, a whirlwind of uncertainty swirling within me about what to do next. He halted just a few meters away, his eyes locked onto mine with an intensity that sent a shiver down my spine. He spoke with a soft, soothing voice that wrapped around the words like a warm embrace. I must confess, what I'm about to share may seem strange, but lately I've been navigating a labyrinth of emotions that I struggle to understand. In a heartbeat, the world around me faded, and I gasped for air, my lungs screaming for relief. Silence enveloped me, leaving me utterly speechless. A wave of uncertainty washed over me as I grappled with how to respond. Honestly, I felt the same emotions, sensing that subtle shift in our bond, as if we were drawing closer in a new way, transcending our familial ties. The air crackled with unspoken words, and in that moment, everything changed. I began to speak, my voice trembling with a hint of uncertainty. Liam, I find myself lost in confusion. But just as I was on the brink of completion, he leaned in closer, his hand gently grazing mine, sending a shiver down my spine. The interaction unfolded with a delicate intensity, wrapping around me like a warm embrace, igniting a thrill deep within. A sudden wave of intensity stirred within me, leaving me quietly stunned by the depth of our connection. As I observed the scene unravel before me, my heart pounded in my chest, a vivid indication that we had stepped into uncharted territory, a culmination of tension that had been brewing beneath the surface. Liam's voice barely broke the silence, a hushed confession laced with uncertainty. I know it's not right, he murmured, the weight of his words hanging in the air. As he grasped my hand, his voice quivered, heavy with the intensity of his emotions. Yet, my emotions surged like a tempest, wild and uncontainable. Silence enveloped the moment, as if the very air had conspired to steal away the words that lingered just beyond reach. The weight of the moment pressed down on me, plunging me into a sea of contemplation, my thoughts swirling like a tempest, too intricate to fully comprehend. He was my lord, the steadfast guardian of Nathan. Yet, the profound bond I experienced with him was undeniable. In that instant, an overwhelming urge surged within me to declare my need to depart. As I took a step back, severing the bond that had tethered us together, a tremor danced through my voice, and a flush of warmth surged to my cheeks. Liam's heart ached as he conveyed his profound sorrow, his voice barely a whisper, laden with regret as he offered an apology. I apologize, even if it arrived devoid of genuine purpose. With determination, I found my voice, fighting to regain my equilibrium. We'll rendezvous later. We'll rendezvous later. I raced after him, abandoning the bathroom in a blur, urgency propelling me forward without a second thought. My mind spun a chaotic storm of confusion, guilt, and a raw emotion I was unprepared to confront. As I softly shut the door to my room, a wave of tranquility washed over me, rekindling my spirit within its protective embrace. My heart pounded fiercely against my ribcage. How did it all spiral out of control in the blink of an eye? What path should he choose to take in this pivotal moment? Despite the absence of any significant events, a profound sense of disorientation enveloped me, leaving me grappling with the uncertainty of my next step. All day long, I fought to maintain a facade of normalcy, masking the turmoil that churned beneath the surface. With the housework behind me and the shopping done, I steeled myself, determined to push through the haunting memories of what had transpired in the bathroom. No matter how fiercely I fought against it, Liam's memories clung to my mind like shadows, refusing to fade away. Their proximity enveloped me, the heat of his touch igniting a fire within, while the profound emotion reflected in his eyes, a gaze I had never encountered, etched itself into my heart and mind, rendering them forever unforgettable. The outcome shattered my expectations, leaving a lingering sense of disappointment in its wake. In a twist of fate, I found myself marrying Nathan, and with that union, Liam stepped into my life as my stepson. What began as a simple and intimate bond soon took an unexpected turn, a shift that crept in unnoticed until it was far too late for me to grasp its significance. As the hours stretched on, I found myself enveloped in the heavy cloak of solitude within the confines of my home. After our meeting, Nathan vanished into the horizon on one of his work trips, leaving me alone to wrestle with my swirling thoughts in the heavy silence. At home, the silence hung heavily in the air, wrapping around me like a shroud, and forcing me to confront the stark truth of what had unfolded. Over and over that moment echoed in the depths of my mind. The warmth enveloped us, a palpable closeness that ignited a fire within. His words, charged with intensity, sent my heartbeat racing, and the magnetic pull between us was impossible to ignore. As darkness enveloped the world, a deepening sense of dread clawed at my insides. As the hours slipped by, the silence surrounding Liam enveloped me, wrapping me in an unexpected tranquility. A wave of uncertainty washed over me as I contemplated how to approach him after everything that had unfolded. The thought of his potential questions sent a shiver down my spine, leaving me at a loss for words should he dare to bring it up. Yet a part of me, despite my relentless attempts to push it aside, ached for his presence with an intensity that was impossible to ignore. My mind spiraled with questions, each one more haunting than the last. Where was he? What thoughts danced through his mind? Did he share this gnawing uncertainty that clutched at my heart? As I lounged on the sofa, the remnants of wine swirling in my nearly empty glass, an unexpected sound pierced the silence. The main door creaked open, sending a shiver down my spine. With a sudden jolt in my chest, I released the glass, my mind racing as I sought the stillness within. Moments later, Liam stepped into the room, his face a mask of emptiness. As our gazes intertwined, an intense stillness wrapped around us like a shroud. We were ensnared, each of us wandering through the profound abyss of the other's eyes. The air crackled with an electric tension between us, thick enough to cut with a knife. He greeted me softly, shattering the silence with his warm words that wrapped around me like a comforting embrace. His voice wavered, soft and hesitant, as if the very act of approaching me was a daunting task he struggled to conquer. As his greeting echoed in the air, my voice trembled with a surge of emotion, each word laced with unspoken feelings. As I opened my eyes, an unsettling tide surged through me. He laid bare his tumultuous feelings of doubt, a storm brewing within him. "I wasn't sure if you'd return today," he replied, his voice laced with uncertainty. "Indeed, I yearned to savor the fresh air and embrace the beauty of the great outdoors." He gazed through the glass, his mind wandering far beyond the surface, lost in a world of possibilities. He radiated an unsettling tension, as if he were in a frantic pursuit to unearth the elusive words that would capture the moment. Yet, within his gaze lingered an unspoken depth, a mirror to the tumult of my own emotions. In the midst of my struggles, my thoughts enveloped me, relentless and unyielding. It was my moment to unveil the depths of my emotions, to illuminate the shadows that cloaked our reality, to weave clarity and understanding into the fabric of our shared experience. I fixed my eyes on him, captivated by the way the shirt clung to his torso, and how his dark hair cascaded softly over his eyes. He had transformed completely since the moment I said I do to Nathan. He had experienced a remarkable metamorphosis in his adult life. In that moment, enveloped by the profound silence of the room, an undeniable sensation washed over me. Liam stepped forward, his voice heavy with regret, as he offered heartfelt apologies for our earlier exchange. His voice flowed softly, like a warm breeze on a quiet evening. He longed to maintain a sense of ease in the unfolding circumstances. Yet, a haze of confusion envelops me, leaving me to grapple with the shadows of what truly unfolded. I shook my head, a heavy sigh escaping from the depths of my being. I tried to remain calm, though the emotions underneath threatened to surface. Surprise gripped me like a vice. "Very well, let's cut through the chaos and narrow down every option before us." He offered a subtle nod, a gesture laden with unspoken meaning. As he lifted his gaze, our eyes locked in a moment charged with intensity. There are moments when I can't help but wonder where I truly belong in this family. There are moments when the words seem to elude me, making it difficult to share my thoughts with you. I know it's not the right path, yet grappling with my emotions feels like an insurmountable challenge. The words he uttered wrapped around me like a vice, leaving me trembling and gasping for breath, ensnared in a profound sense of suffocation. A powerful urge surged within me, compelling me to share something that could halt this situation from plunging deeper into chaos. Yet, I could not shake the undeniable weight of his words, each syllable echoing in the depths of my mind. A connection pulsed between us, a force that had been quietly intensifying over time, and I found it nearly impossible to accept its existence. "Liam," I began to utter the words. My words spilled forth, trembling with a quiet intensity. "It seems like a distant dream, forever out of reach. This cannot be allowed to happen. You are the fortress that shields Nathan." As I entered, his voice weighed down by sorrow enveloped me. Despite that realization, my emotions clung stubbornly to their course. He edged nearer, and an intoxicating warmth enveloped me, drawing me into his orbit. I struggled to maintain the distance between us, aware of how fragile the situation had become, drawing us closer to an inevitable encounter. I intended to retreat, to carve out a distance between us, but my legs remained stubbornly rooted, as if bound by an unseen force. Instead, I remained rooted in place, feeling my heart pound wildly in my chest. Instead of walking away, I stayed, trying to find the right words in a moment thick with uncertainty. A wave of emotion surged within me, intense and all-consuming, pulling me deeper into my thoughts. I fixed my eyes on him, drawn in by an invisible thread. A surge of emotions washed over me as I caught a glimpse of the same feelings reflected in his gaze. A palpable uncertainty hung in the air, intertwined with a profound yearning and the crushing weight of remorse. Every emotion surged between us, raw and unfiltered, creating an electric connection that was impossible to ignore. Liam's voice trembled as he expressed concern about the pain this situation could bring to everyone involved, sending a shiver through me. Yet, I can no longer maintain the facade that this isn't happening. Acceptance eluded me, a shadow lurking just beyond my grasp. My mind was overwhelmed by emotions I hadn't yet learned how to process. A powerful conviction surged within me, driving my every action with unwavering certainty. A bond existed between us, a connection that pulsed with authenticity, undeniable and profound. Yet, something about that didn't sit well, did it? I embraced the role of a stepmother to Nathan's son, stepping into a world filled with uncharted emotions and complex dynamics. This action seemed like a distant dream, forever out of reach. As I stood there, my gaze fixed on him, a deep tension hung in the air, and though I knew where the lines were drawn, my emotions left me feeling unanchored. Not at this moment. No, not when we stood on the brink of something so profound, so undeniably authentic. I found myself ensnared in a challenging predicament, my voice slipping through the air as nothing more than a fragile whisper. Liam edged closer, his fingers tightening around mine, a surge of intensity crackling in the air between us. "We don't have to resolve everything right now," he said, his voice a soothing balm in the tense air. "We must face the reality head-on, rather than burying our heads in the sand." The words he uttered hung in the air, thick with the weight of everything left unsaid, creating a palpable tension in the space that separated us. In that fleeting moment, the true magnitude of his success washed over me like a tidal wave, leaving me breathless. The charade could no longer be sustained. After what felt like an eternity, the tension between us reached a boiling point, and when the truth finally emerged, it was as if we had crossed an irreversible threshold. Before I could gather my thoughts, Liam laid bare his emotions, plunging me into a whirlwind of contemplation about the very limits of our connection. In that moment, a wave of unspoken emotion passed between us, powerful and overwhelming. I reached out instinctively, not knowing whether to comfort or to create distance, as if the world around us faded away. In that fleeting moment, the weight of our unvoiced emotions and profound sorrow hung heavy in the air, a silent testament to the depths we had concealed within. An intense longing surged within, tangled with confusion and regret, weaving a tapestry of emotions that resonated deeply, an echo of what felt unmistakably like love. Little did I know the weight it carried. Doubt gnawed at me as we drew closer to the unknown destination ahead. In that moment, a wave of tranquility enveloped me, soothing my restless spirit. As we uttered our final farewells, a heavy breath slipped from our lips, laden with unspoken emotions. Our foreheads pressed together, the gravity of our recent choices hung heavily in the air, leaving us both stunned. Yet, rather than being consumed by remorse, an unexpected emotion washed over me, a profound sense of tranquility. A wave of liberation washed over me as the simmering tension between us erupted at last. The masks were finally gone, a symbol of a past we could now leave behind. Liam's eyes locked onto mine, a storm of emotion swirling within them. He leaned in closer, his voice barely above a whisper. "What should we do next?" He paused, a flicker of conflict dancing behind his eyes. No reply has come my way. It was clear that the bond we shared had shifted into something entirely different. In that fleeting moment, as I grasped his hand, a profound realization washed over me. I had no desire to go back. In that instant, I made it clear that this was far from the end. Unbeknownst to me, the words tumbled from my lips, each syllable a whisper of secrets waiting to be unleashed. Then I declared, "But we will uncover a path forward together." A wave of tranquility washed over me as he smiled, a sensation I hadn't experienced since that fateful morning in the bathroom. "Regardless of what this means or how it transforms, we will face it together, united and unyielding." The tale continues to weave its intricate threads. In the days that followed, a tapestry of serene moments unfolded, woven with tender gestures and unspoken emotions that hung in the air, heavy and electric, between Liam and me. In the aftermath of that first kiss, an undeniable tension hung in the air, a palpable awareness that we had stepped into uncharted territory. Yet, rather than being consumed by guilt or sorrow, an unexpected wave of relief washed over us, as if the heavy tension that had hung between us for weeks had finally dissipated into the air. In that fleeting moment of relief, an undeniable truth washed over us. Our future had irrevocably changed. In Nathan's absence for work, the house became a silent witness to the moments Liam and I shared, often leaving us alone in its echoing halls. The moments of calm we shared together transformed into something deeply meaningful. Every gesture and each expression of joy masked a labyrinth of unspoken questions, waiting to be unraveled. What connection does this hold for our group? Where will our journey take us next? But the question loomed larger than the rest. For how long could we keep this information shrouded in secrecy? One fateful evening, mere days after our first kiss, ignited a spark between us. Liam and I found ourselves entwined in the shadows of the backyard once more. As dusk descended, the sun slowly withdrew, draping the garden in a soft golden hue, while the air wrapped around everything with a comforting warmth, a lingering caress from the day's farewell. We had settled into a familiar rhythm, our nights unfolding beneath the stars, where laughter danced in the air and the stillness of the world wrapped around us, creating a sanctuary for the connection that flourished between us. Liam slid into the seat next to me, the air thick with unspoken tension. Our elbows grazed, a fleeting touch that sent a shiver through the air between us. A surge of emotion enveloped me, igniting a fire as his skin pressed against mine, radiating warmth that sent shivers down my spine. His gaze lingered on me, a palpable weight that drew me in. When I finally turned to meet his eyes, he gifted me a soft, hesitant smile that sent my heart racing. "Can I ask you something?" His voice floated through the air, a mere whisper that seemed to hang in the silence, drawing in the listener with its fragile intensity. "Absolutely," I responded, my eyes flickering toward him, a subtle tension hanging in the air. He stared intently at his hands, as if they held the power to unleash the emotions he struggled to express. "Have you pondered the weight of this moment, given our situation?" It was a struggle to absorb the reality, my heart thundering fiercely within my chest. My thoughts drifted through an infinite landscape, yet I held my tongue, opting for silence over the chaos of spoken words. Confronting the reality of the situation unfolding between the two was a challenge I struggled to face. I realized, with a jolt, that my voice emerged far softer than I had ever expected. Doubt gnaws at me, leaving me questioning if I truly possess the answers I seek. He nodded slowly, his gaze dropping to the ground, heavy with unspoken thoughts. "I need you to grasp the weight of this moment. It is neither transient nor ephemeral, do you understand? Your presence in my life holds immense value, shaping my world in ways I can hardly express. I often venture past the limits. This situation looms large, a tempest of emotions swirling within me, making it nearly impossible to navigate my own heart. The words you spoke lingered in the air, heavy, with all that remained unvoiced. A heavy weight pressed down on my chest, each breath a struggle as the reality of your words pierced through me, leaving my heart in anguish. A profound worry gnawed at me, a sense that his well-being teetered on the edge of peril. Yet, a profound unease settled within me, casting shadows over what lay ahead for us, for our shared destiny, and for the bond I held with Nathan. My heart raced as I poured out my fears for you, my voice trembling with raw emotion. This predicament reaches far beyond the confines of our personal encounters. Nathan occupies a cherished corner of our hearts, intricately entwined in the very essence of our existence. Should he uncover the truth? Liam's face radiated a profound intensity. As the storm of emotions surged within him, he clenched his jaw, a silent battle raging beneath the surface. I can see where you're coming from. My heart aches for him, yet I can no longer ignore the tumultuous emotions that swirl between us. I fumbled for the right words as he softly nibbled on my lip. Our connection ran deep, a truth we both felt, yet we were acutely aware that shadows loomed ahead, ready to cast their consequences upon us. Causing Nathan pain was never part of my plan. Despite my reluctance to disappoint him, I couldn't overlook the undeniable connection that pulsed between Liam and me. My voice barely rose above a whisper, a tremor of doubt lacing my words as I grappled with the weight of the decision before me. Yet, a stirring within me made it clear that I could no longer turn a blind eye to this unfolding reality. As I gazed upward, I found Liam's eyes shimmering with a tumultuous mix of emotions, a flicker of hope intertwined with a shadow of apprehension, all wrapped around a profound yearning that tugged at the very core of existence. He hesitated for a moment, then reached out, his warm fingers weaving through mine with a tender touch that sent a shiver down my spine. The intimacy wrapped around me like a warm embrace, breathing new life into my weary soul in that fleeting instant. With a gentle touch, he whispered promises of resolution, his finger gliding softly along the back of my hand, igniting a spark of hope in the air between us. Together, we will chart a course through the storm, undeterred by the trials that lie ahead. His words echoed through my very being, igniting a fierce conviction in my heart. At that moment, things began to make sense, even if the answers were far from easy. As fear, confusion, and uncertainty melted into the shadows, a serene clarity emerged, illuminating the path ahead. Though we were shrouded in uncertainty, the need for clarity felt insignificant in the face of what lay ahead. What truly mattered was the strength of our unity, a bond forged in shared concern that resonated with profound significance. As the sun dipped below the horizon, we sat together in thoughtful silence, the moment suspended in uncertainty. The gentle breeze whispered secrets through the air, while the distant chirping of crickets punctuated the tranquil stillness, heralding the enchanting transformation of day into night. As I rested my head against Liam's shoulder, the steady cadence of his breath enveloped me, and an overwhelming sense of tranquility surged through me, a sensation I had long thought lost to time. As I yearned to cling to that fleeting moment, the undeniable truth lingered just within reach, ready to shatter the illusion. As the days drew closer, the anticipation of Nathan's return loomed over me like a dark cloud, stirring a profound unease within my very core. How do I face that piercing gaze, burdened by the weight of the history that binds Liam and me? How can one maintain the illusion that all is well, when beneath the surface, turmoil brews and nothing feels as it should? In the days that followed, Liam and I fought to maintain our composure, weaving a fragile tapestry of tranquility around us, even as the weight of our daunting reality loomed ever closer, demanding our attention. Our bond was undeniable, but the weight of regret soon began to press heavily on my heart. As the night before Nathan's return enveloped me, I lay in bed, my eyes fixed on the ceiling, lost in a whirlwind of thoughts. Amidst the relentless storm of my thoughts, the quest for peace seemed like an elusive dream, forever just out of reach. In the stillness of the house, the only sound was the soft, rhythmic hum of the air conditioning, a lullaby that began and paused, weaving an atmosphere thick with anticipation. Yet the quest for peace and the embrace of sleep seemed like a distant dream, forever out of reach. Liam's presence surged through my thoughts, awakening vivid memories of our intimacy and the profound bond we once shared, igniting emotions that had long lain silent. A choice loomed before me, heavy with consequence. The weight of uncertainty pressed heavily upon me, a tempest of emotions swirling within. I was caught in a fierce struggle, my heart divided between the magnetic pull of Liam and the steadfast loyalty I owed to Nathan. Yet, the very idea of making that choice, of severing ties with one of them, weighed heavily on the heart, a torment too profound to endure. As I lay there, adrift in a sea of my own thoughts, a faint sound began to creep in from the door of the room, pulling me from my reverie. My heart pounded wildly, as though it had lodged itself in my throat. I sank into my seat, my heart pounding with a thrilling sense of anticipation. I gently gestured for the person to step inside, the air thick with anticipation. My words spilled forth, trembling with a quiet intensity. With a tremor of uncertainty, the door creaked open, and Liam rapped gently, his voice laced with concern. "We need to talk," he said, his expression grave, as if the weight of the world rested on his shoulders. As he closed the door with a soft click, he sank onto the edge of the bed, the heaviness of the day wrapping around him like a thick fog. In that moment, silence wrapped around us like a heavy cloak, and the weight of unvoiced thoughts hung palpably in the air. He spoke in hushed tones, his eyes fixed on the ground, revealing his inner turmoil as he reflected on his words about Nathan, grappling with the weight of the circumstances surrounding them. He found it hard to accept that he didn't want to pressure you into making a choice. His earnest voice coiled around my heart, creating a tight knot of emotion within me. In that fleeting moment, he broke the silence, his heart spilling forth with a confession of love. His voice resonated powerfully, brimming with raw emotion. "In the depths of my being, a powerful love for you has taken root, though I cannot pinpoint the moment it blossomed. I understand that my feelings may not resonate with you, yet I earnestly hope you can take a moment to reflect on them." His words struck me with an intensity that left me gasping for air, caught in a moment that felt suspended in time. Deep within my soul, a flicker of hope ignited, whispering that he harbored the same feelings I did. As he uttered those words, a powerful wave of emotion surged through him, enveloping him in a profound sense of authenticity. "There's something growing between us, confusing and overwhelming. I can't ignore it, but I don't know what to do with it," I whispered, my voice barely breaking the silence, each word laced with unspoken longing. The words escaped my lips, unbidden and wild. Liam's gaze locked onto mine, his eyes glimmering with an intoxicating blend of astonishment and yearning. I inquired. Truly? I feel that deeply. My heart raced wildly in my chest, but that only added to the complexity of the moment. In that moment of silence, a profound stillness enveloped me, rendering me speechless, as if the very air had thickened, halting the flow of our conversation. In that instant, a profound truth washed over me, illuminating the depths of my mind. I decided to be honest about what I was feeling, even though the truth scared me. In hindsight, I realized that my choice was fueled by emotion, not by the clarity of reason. In that fleeting moment, a profound calm washed over me. In an instant, he grasped the weight of my words and welcomed my offer with open arms. I found myself drawn toward him, the silence between us thick with emotion. But I stopped short, caught in the gravity of the moment in a tender kiss. We stood silently, the intensity of our emotions mirrored in our shared gaze, each of us wrestling with what had just passed. In a moment of vulnerability, I decided to confront my emotions head-on, and in that brave choice, I discovered an unexpected tranquility that enveloped me. Yet, just as the flames of passion ignited with fervor, they were extinguished in an instant. The thrill he must have felt pulses through me, and I grasped it completely. In that fleeting moment, he reached out, his fingers wrapping around mine with an intensity that sent a shiver down my spine. We stood in silence, our eyes locking in a gaze that conveyed unspoken truths. The burden of existence pressed down on our shoulders, a relentless force that threatened to crush us beneath its enormity. With an air of calm determination, he whispered his words, each syllable laced with purpose. No matter the obstacles that lie ahead, we will unearth a path forward. In that moment, an overwhelming wave of trust washed over me, anchoring me to his words. Despite the weight of the decision pressing down on me, an undeniable clarity surged within, guiding me toward the truth of what must be done. When Nathan returned, the atmosphere shifted, quiet, uncertain, and filled with unspoken questions. The tension simmering between Liam and me was palpable, an electric charge that crackled in the air, waiting to ignite. He hung in the air like a haunting mist, wrapping around us inescapably, drawing us deeper into his presence. As Nathan stepped back into our lives, an electric tension filled the air, hinting at the impending shifts that loomed ahead, though the specifics remained shrouded in mystery. Our relationship has veered into uncharted territory, a twist I never saw coming. We had plunged into the depths of our intricate emotions, uncovering layers we never knew existed. No matter how fiercely I fought to erase it from my mind, it remained a constant shadow, ever close and unwavering. When Nathan returned, I greeted him with the same warmth and familiarity that had once been second nature, and the soothing familiarity of their cherished routine wrapped around him like a comforting blanket. We lingered in the shadows of our memories, recalling the moments we endured in solitude. Nathan seemed oblivious to the silent chasm that had opened up between us. The joy he once expressed enveloped the home, weaving a tapestry of warmth and nostalgia that lingered in the air. Yet beneath that facade, a heavy weight pressed down on his chest, suffocating and relentless. Every glance we exchanged and every word we shared with Liam pulsed with the heavy tension of all that remained unspoken between us. Nathan's return wove a tangled web of intrigue into the already complicated situation. After dinner that night, Nathan proposed we convene in the living room for an intimate and meaningful discussion. I found myself in complete agreement. As I sank into the sofa, I fought to conjure a smile, even as my heart thundered with a whirlwind of emotions. Liam sat across from me, his gaze piercing through the dim light, a silent tension hanging in the air between us. In that fleeting instant, our gazes locked, a spark igniting between us. Regrettably, the absence of Nathan cast a shadow over our attempts to spark a conversation. He recounted his travel experience, weaving a tale rich with the weight of responsibilities that pressed upon him, compelling him to keep us informed at every turn. The voices swirled around me, a cacophony that threatened to shatter my focus. In the end, Nathan voiced his regrets, his departure for work casting a shadow over the room as he left Liam and me alone in the living room. As he walked away, an eerie stillness descended upon the room, wrapping them in a heavy shroud of contemplation. With a heart racing and palms clammy, Liam sat frozen in the chair, his hands balled into fists, a desperate attempt to ward off the weight of my presence. As a tide of guilt surged within me, I bowed my head, feeling its weight pressing down like a storm on the horizon. I completely understand the gravity of the situation, but the moment has come for us to reveal this to Nathan. He is worthy of far greater respect. He is unworthy of it. Liam halted suddenly, his presence drawing back to my side with an intensity that sent a shiver down my spine. What are your thoughts on it? He unleashed the question into the air, a spark igniting the tension in the room. I exhaled deeply, the weight of my breath escaping into the air. The weight of my next words bore down on my heart, a palpable tension that filled the air around me. It is imperative that we embark on a quest to uncover a resolution to this pressing issue. The weight of uncertainty presses down, suffocating and relentless, transforming every moment into an agonizing struggle. His gaze pierced through the air, locking onto mine with an intensity that sent shivers down my spine. His face was a canvas of anguish and understanding, each line telling a story of shared suffering. He leaned closer, his voice barely a breath. You were right. What weight does that carry for our predicament? The struggle to choose between Nathan and Liam consumed me, leaving me in a state of unresolved turmoil. Yet I realized that the veil of secrecy could no longer be upheld. Unless we took swift action, the truth would unravel in a way that threatened to shatter the hearts of all involved. I replied with unwavering honesty, admitting that the answer still eluded me. We must delve deep into the profound importance of every thread that binds us together. Liam nodded, a silent agreement passing between them. Yet the sorrow in his eyes told a deeper story, one that lingered in the air like a haunting melody. He drew nearer, the tension thickening in the air between us. He settled beside me on the sofa, his hands softly enveloping mine, and in that fleeting moment, we surrendered to the profound stillness that surrounded us. The oppressive weight of our situation bore down on us, suffocating and relentless. His gentle touch enveloped me in a cocoon of warmth and comfort, drawing me closer as I surrendered to the moment, resting my head on his shoulder. He whispered his longing for a world transformed, where shadows of despair did not linger. I cautiously revealed that my feelings mirrored theirs, yet the weight of this charade felt too heavy to bear for much longer. We lingered in that stillness, wrapped in the heavy silence of the room, the quiet only broken by Nathan's voice, drifting in from the next room, his words reverberating through the air as he conversed on the phone. A heavy stillness hung in the air, a palpable tension that hinted at the chaos to come, as we braced ourselves for the inevitable confrontation with our fate. The next morning, just as Nathan was about to head out for work, I stumbled upon Liam in the kitchen, an unexpected twist in the routine of the day. The stillness enveloped us, thick with unspoken thoughts and emotions waiting to burst forth. The air crackled with tension, a heavy weight pressing down as the moment demanded a conversation to chart our next steps. Yet, the words danced, just out of reach, taunting me with their absence. In the end, I broke the silence with a determined proclamation. Liam's face was etched with a heavy solemnity, shadows of unspoken thoughts flickering in his eyes. Indeed, I found myself deep in thought about that too. We huddled around the kitchen table, the warmth of each other's presence wrapping around us like a familiar blanket. The weight of our conversation hung in the air, pressing down on us with an undeniable intensity. I halted, a storm of thoughts swirling in my mind, each one more elusive than the last, as I struggled to find clarity amidst the chaos. The situation loomed ahead, shrouded in an air of daunting complexity that twisted and turned like a labyrinth. As I began to speak, my words trembled with uncertainty, each one a fragile thread woven into the tapestry of my feelings for Nathan. I must confront the reality of the situation that is unfolding between us. Liam, you occupy a unique and cherished space in my heart, and the tumultuous waters of this situation regarding my marriage to your father are proving to be incredibly difficult for me to navigate. With a sense of urgency, Liam leaned forward, his elbows pressing against the table as if the weight of the world rested upon them. As he bared his soul to Anna, the weight of his emotions pressed down on him. I care for you more than words can express, and the mere thought of bringing you pain gnaws at my heart. The thought of separation weighs heavily on my heart, a burden I struggle to endure. His words pierced through the silence, stirring something profound within me, and I could sense the tears beginning to rise, threatening to spill over. A profound urgency surged within me, compelling me to prevent his escape. Yet the stark reality of our predicament loomed large and undeniable. The weight of the circumstances bore down on us, urging a desperate change in our course to avert total ruin. I asked for space, unsure of what the next step should be or how to regain clarity, as a subtle tremor betrayed the emotions stirring within me. To truly grasp the essence of this relationship, one must navigate its depths with a steady heart and an open mind. Creating space might be crucial to achieving it. Liam's features began to fade, and I felt the weight of anguish mirrored in his gaze. He stressed the necessity of forging a distance between us. His emotions reverberated through each word, creating a symphony of feeling that captivated all who listened. A tide of sorrow surged within me, pressing heavily against my heart. This seems to be the only way to truly understand the depths of our emotions. The solution seems forever out of reach, waiting for Nathan to unveil it. Liam sat in silence, his gaze fixed intently on the table, as if it held the answers to unspoken questions. The deep conflict etched on his face mirrored the turmoil raging within my very core, a silent battle that threatened to consume us both. Drawing in a deep breath, he released a soft sigh, his voice barely above a whisper as he said, "I understand if you believe this is the best choice." I reached out gently, trying to offer a sense of comfort in a moment that felt emotionally overwhelming. "Liam, the thought of our separation weighs heavily on my heart. Yet we must confront the truth within ourselves and between us." He lifted his gaze, and in that moment, a profound sorrow and empathy flickered in his eyes, drawing you into the depths of his unspoken pain. He admitted he feared change more than anything, afraid of what it might mean for those around him, a fear that gnawed at him relentlessly, even as he steeled himself to do whatever it took to keep her by his side. After that talk, a wave of exhaustion crashes over me, yet amidst the fatigue, a profound calmness envelops my being. We cast aside our masks and face the raw reality of our situation, igniting the first spark of our journey toward unraveling the path that lay ahead. Despite the daunting obstacles, it was the only route forward, a relentless journey toward progress. In the days that followed, Liam and I deliberately kept our distance, each of us seeking the solitude needed to unravel the tangled threads of our situation. The task was a labyrinth of complexity, fraught with challenges, yet undeniably essential. As the shadows of uncertainty loomed over us, a flicker of resolve ignited within. Whatever the future dared to throw our way, I was certain of one thing: we would face it together, unyielding and united. At last, a choice loomed on the horizon, yet for the moment, we pressed on slowly, unraveling the tangled web of emotions that had led us to this pivotal moment. No matter the circumstances, an unbreakable connection pulsed between us, a force that transcended everything else. What united us would withstand the test of time, even as circumstances shifted around us. That night, as I lay in bed, the house was cloaked in an enveloping silence, and a profound sense of tranquility surged through me, wrapping me in its comforting embrace. Though it lacked perfection and ease, there was an undeniable authenticity to it, and in that fleeting moment, it was more than enough.